Hi, I'm Scott. Welcome to Scott's Synth Stuff. Today we're going to introduce the new Yamaha MODX Plus coming up next. So the MODX Plus has not yet been officially announced. However, it is the worst kept secret on the internet because it is absolutely leaked everywhere. Everything from images. Apparently one of the units was actually delivered by mistake in, I think it was Brazil or Mexico. And the user manual has been leaked online. So we have a lot of information about this. And we're going to talk about what is going to be included in the new MODX Plus. A little bit of history. The MODX is the lower cost version of the Montage, kind of like the Motif to the MOX F is the Montage to the MODX. The Montage has two engines in it. It has the AWM2, which is the PCM wave engine, and it has the FMX engine. Each of those has 128 voices. There is 1.75 gigabytes of user memory in the Montage, about 1 gigabyte in the MODX. The MODX has the same engines in it, however, it's only got 64 voices for the FMX engine instead of the 128. Now, the Montage has seamless sound switching, which means you can play one sound, and while you're holding those notes down and they're still sounding, switch to another sound, and the first sound will continue playing until you let up on the keys. So it's seamless because then you start immediately playing the new sound. The MODX also has this, but it's only limited to those performances that have 4 parts or less. The Montage can do all 8 parts. So that's a key difference. Of course, the Montage has the upgraded key bed. It has higher sample rates, whereas the MODX can only do 44.1. The Montage has several different sample rates available. If you are using either for USB in and out audio, the Montage has many more in and out channels available to it than the MODX. The Montage has balanced outputs, a much higher quality DAC, digital analog converter. So there are definitely differences between the two beyond just the electronics and the firmware capabilities. The main reason why the MODX only has 64 voices of FMX is because they're of a chip. The chip is called the SWP70, and it is the Yamaha proprietary DSP chip. It is the heavy lifting chip that does all the sound generation or the tone generation. It can do AWM2 PCM if it has linked to wave memory. It can also do FMX, which is Yamaha's current FM generating engine. The Montage has 2 SWP70 chips in it. One of them is dedicated to AWM2, so wave, and that has access to the wave memory. The second chip is dedicated to FMX. That one obviously doesn't have access to any wave memory because it doesn't need it. It's entirely internal, generating based off algorithms rather than waveforms. It is stored samples. The MODX has only one SWP70 chip, and it does double duty for both AWM and FMX, which is the reason why for the limitation of 64 voices only on FMX, because they need some of this DSP capacity still to run the AWM engine. However, if you actually open up a MODX, if you look at the circuit board, there was actually an unpopulated spot on the circuit board for a second SWP70 chip, which led a lot of people many years ago to say, well, one day there's going to be an upgraded MODX. It'll have a second chip and more capabilities. And that day has come. The rumor started a few weeks back when a lot of retailers were having difficulty getting MODXs in stock, and they just started calling them discontinued. Major retailers said, no, it's not being discontinued. And the reason that these retailers were showing it as discontinued is simply because they couldn't get any. Well, the reason they couldn't get any is because Yamaha stopped making them. However, it's not because they were discontinuing it, it's because they were bringing out the MODX Plus. And the rumors started swirling around when images of this MODX Plus started popping up on the internet. A lot of people said, oh, it's photoshopped, it's fake. However, Just the other day, I went onto the Yamaha US website. I went to the product registration page. I typed in MODX and up popped all the MODX Plus models. And I'll show you a screen capture I made at the time. You can see it pre-populated the MODX 7 Plus name, and it even popped up a picture of the MODX 7 Plus. Now, if you go look at that today, it's gone. Obviously, that was a mistake, and Yamaha didn't intend to have that live already, but it was definitely up there for at least a few days, and long enough that quite a few of us, me included, were able to get a screenshot of it, and that's pretty good confirmation that, yes, Yamaha is releasing this synthesizer. I did say that a leak of the manual was made available online for a short while. It's gone already, but 7 people did get a copy of it. And so we have some idea of what's going to be changed in the MODX Plus. It's not a huge amount. First off, it gets more memory. We now have the same amount of wave storage memory for user waveforms as a Montage, 1.76 gigabytes. FMX polyphony goes from 64 to 128, matching the Montage. Now, I had a MODX 7 for many years, and I absolutely loved it. And I said I would never sell it, but I ended up selling it. And the reason why is because I bought a Montage 7. I love the Montage. I love the keypad. I love the controls. So I was particularly interested to see what is going to be added to the MODX and what might be coming for the Montage. So we'll get into that in just a moment. The new MODX Plus, according to the manual, gets 1.76 gigabytes of user memory. That's for user-stored libraries and samples, which is the same as the Montage. FMX polyphony goes from 64 on the old MODX to 128 on the new MODX Plus. That tells us the new MODX Plus more than likely has a second SWP70 chip in it. Either that or Yamaha has engineered a replacement for the SWP70 chip. I think that is much less likely. I think they have simply populated that second pad on the board, the one that was unpopulated all these years, with a second SWP70 chip. And what that means, we'll get into in just a moment. Even though it has the second chip and the capability probably within it, the new MODX Plus is still limited for seamless sound switching to only those performances with 4 parts. So they did not give us the 8-part seamless sound switching of the Montage, and I really love that feature on the Montage. Now, what might they be bringing? Well, back in June, early June, a trademark registration was made by Yamaha for the trademark AN-X. Yamaha produced an AN1X virtual analog synth in 1997. It only came out for a couple of years, but it was one of the first virtual analog modeling synths. At the time, there was a lot of speculation that maybe Yamaha is coming out with a new virtual analog synthesizer, but I don't think that's too likely. I think what they are planning is to add a virtual analog engine to maybe the new MODX and Montage. Now that the MODX Plus and the Montage are more or less equal in terms of capability in hardware, and when I say hardware, I'm talking about those SWP70 chips, the heavy lifter tone generators. Now that they both have more or less the same hardware in terms of tone generation, it's entirely possible that Yamaha will be bringing out a third engine for these synthesizers, an AN-X engine, which is just basically a virtual analog modeling engine. Whether that comes to fruition or not, I don't know. I sure hope it does, because I would really love to see Yamaha's take on a virtual analog modeling synth. They did a really good job on the Reface CS. So if they can do something that sounds just as good in our Montage and MODX Plus keyboards, I would love to see and hear that. Well, the scuttlebutt is that Yamaha will be releasing the MODX Plus within the first 2 weeks of September. So once that occurs, all the questions will be answered, all the knowledge will be public, and we'll be able to get our hands on these new synthesizers and take them out for a test ride and see what they can do. What do you think about the new MODX Plus? Is it too little, too much? What do you think about an AN-X engine in one of these synthesizers? Are you excited about it? Leave your comments down below. And if you like what you saw here, and you'd like to know more about synthesizers, sound design, composition, all this kind of stuff, don't forget to click like, subscribe, click that little bell. You get a notification every time we post one of these videos. Thanks for watching.